All right. Ready? And 3, 2, 1.
We never.
Oh, that's right. Wait. Ready? 3, 2.
Yeah, I don't drink soda.
You don't drink soda, so I got it today.
He does.
We just kind of rushed here, actually, to talk about this film, so we didn't get a chance to hit the gas station and get our beautiful
energy drinks.
Yeah.
So I might be dead on this one, guys. I'm sorry.
You might be a little dead.
Might be a little dead,
but I'm not.
But you know why I mentioned dead, right? Because we're talking about a Jason Statham action movie today. That's right, folks. I made a pun.
Oh, what is it? A Working Man.
A Working Man. It is a 2025 American action thriller film directed by David Ayer. I absolutely love this man. I love a lot of his films. Who co-wrote the script with Sylvester Stallone.
I was really surprised by that.
I was really surprised by it, and then I was not surprised when I started hearing the dialogue. The film is based on the 2014 novel Leavens Trade by Chuck Dixon. It stars Jason Statham, Michael Pena, and David Harbour. Mm. The budget on this was $40 million, and as of now, the box office is $33.4 million.
It's doing good.
It's blowing Snow White out of the water right now.
I feel so bad, man. That is getting so much bad rep, man.
Oh, I know.
Snow White.
Yes, it is. And I haven't seen it, so I really can't talk about it. I know about the politics behind what's going on. I do too.
I think that's what's really hurting it the most.
Oh, 100%. It's bad press. And in certain, like the saying bad press, like there's no bad press. Bad press is good press, basically. When it comes to this film, no, bad press is bad press.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I think that's what hurt it the most. Because she doesn't believe in the film almost, it seems, too. Not to go too much into it.
It's really weird because I was also listening to a few YouTube videos about this, and I didn't realize this, but like what she actually said about the film, she wasn't lying. Like, yeah, she was speaking her views and her politics, but she was saying what happens in the film, apparently. Like, there really isn't a love interest, and it's more about, like, girl power, being able to control a
instead
kingdom
of a man.
or something like that. Yeah. She's not looking for long-lost love, which, again, there shouldn't be anything wrong with a woman wanting to just find love in her life. There shouldn't be anything wrong with that. I mean,
that's a man thing, too. Everybody wants to find that special somebody.
Yeah. Like, you should be able to do both. Yeah. Like, it doesn't have to be one or the other.
Yeah.
But I digress. Anyways,
A Working Man.
A Working Man was released in the United States by Amazon MGM Studios through Metro Goldwyn Mayer and internationally by Warner Brothers Pictures. It released March 28th of 2025.
And I was surprised seeing it was more of an Amazon film, because you think a lot of those that were released in theaters and streaming. So maybe
at the same time.
This is the first time. I think it's only in theaters and then it's going to go to streaming.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Dude.
Initial thoughts.
Oh, man. It's a Jason Statham film.
It is a Jason Statham film.
Yeah. Seeing Sly Stone, though, man, I didn't expect that.
It's not any less or any more than a Jason Statham movie. Mm-hmm. You know exactly what you're getting. It was, in my opinion, it was just as good as his movie last year, The Beekeeper.
I like The Beekeeper.
The Beekeeper was fun.
This one's more action-packed, though, Phil.
Yes.
There's more fights.
There's more fights. There's more action going on. But there's also a lot of like, well, how is he doing this? Or how is he doing that? How is he getting this? Kind of stuff, you know?
Terminator.
It was, I feel like The Beekeeper was a little bit more solid of a film.
It's more story driven.
More story driven, and you're actually seeing A to B to C to D. Like with this one that we watched, A Working Man, like we start at A, and then we'll get B, C, D, and then we might skip E, and we'll be at F, and you'll be whoa. What happened to E?
Yeah.
Does that kind of make sense?
And and you go in knowing that too. So it's like,
no, I wasn't going into it. No,
really?
I thought it was going to be, because most of his films are pretty like pretty solid. There's not really big story inconsistencies like that.
And this might be one also that they have a director's cut that might clear up some of that stuff. There's some of the stuff like I just.
Well, I mean, David Ayer is very famous for like making very long films, and they have to chop them down.
Oh well, then that would make sense.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what David Ayers?
Suicide Squad, End of Watch.
Okay.
What else? Oh, Fury.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Definitely, I could see that. I mean, Fury, long movie. So yeah, Statham.
Jason Statham.
Yeah.
All right, let's start going into the plot.
Yeah.
So Levin Cade is a former Royal Marine Commando who now works as the leader of a construction team. He is close with the Garcia family, who runs the company with their teenage daughter, Jenny. She is kidnapped by Russian traffickers. Levin takes matters into his own hands to get her back. Now, he does, but he's also sort of like, he got expenses paid and all that stuff by the Garcia family.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought it was really cool that, let me look at the cast real fast so I can get the character name right. Joe Garcia, who is Jason Statham's boss in this film, is a multiple collaborator, well, a many-time collaborator with David Ayer, which is Michael Pena. He's been in a lot of his films.
Yeah. He's a character actor too. He can play a lot. I love him in
dude, he has so much range. It's insane.
Like in the Marvel, he's got that comedy.
Oh yeah, he's comedic. He's dramatic. He plays good guys. He also plays bad guys. Like he was a bad guy in the last season of the Amazon Jack Ryan show. So like the dude's got range, and every single time I see him, like he'll play a soldier here, he'll play a convict here, he'll make it funny, he'll make it dramatic. He's even played just like a straight up civilian in Battlefield LA and did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Amazing job.
He can stay in that lane. Wherever you put him, he stays in that lane. This one I feel like, and one thing me and you talked about, the acting in this movie. Yeah, that's across the board on that one. But I mean, again, going back to Michael Pena, his wasn't really over the top. Like what you get with him is kind of what you see. It kind of matches. It wasn't really over the top. And man, I'll tell you, over the top.
When Jason Statham walks into his into the bedroom with Michael Pena like drinking on the ground. I was like, yo, that's a tough day right there at work to be in that kind of mindset. Yeah. Yeah. And my hat was off to him right there. That's hard doing a scene like that.
It was, again, I'm going to be the negative.
That's okay. Be the negative guy.
I feel, man, like that character, man, at that moment is one of the little. I mean, for this film, I enjoyed everything about you going in, you know what you're watching.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
It's not supposed to be a sense-making film, you know.
For the most part, yes.
Well, I'm just saying, a man going against the whole world, like it's I say John Wicksy because it's like
even those make sense.
They do make sense. I'm just saying, it's like. Tomorrow, you're not going to have this guy that can go take on all these elite soldiers, these mob guys.
That's suspicion, or you're that's.
I'm saying that's living out, the coloring outside the lines.
Yeah. That's what's the phrase? Something of disbelief.
I know what you're thinking.
Lowering your, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, lowering your expectations. You're knowing what's happening here.
Yeah,
like this isn't completely realistic.
But that scene right there is, I guess, I'm watching it and I'm going, you know, he's this very strong father. He's hiding from his family to drink. I figured that scene, it would be like, you know, the fast forward when they find her, they're all together. For me, I didn't like that he went up to the room and that guy, you know, I figured his character would be more, he's very family-like, so I figured he wouldn't be, I guess he's hiding from himself in a way.
Yeah,
hiding from
of course
himself.
He is, yeah.
I mean, in that sense, it makes sense. It's one of those things I just look at it like, I was like, he should be down there with his family. They're all going through this together.
Let's rewind the clock, as it were. Those that like CGI credit opener
Dude,
thing.
and I told you, I was like looking over at you, I was like, this movie better be bomb ass, because that opening with the title credit scene, I was like, that thing is killer. And I love when they did it with War of the Rohirrim. They did it with Gladiator.
They did do it. Well, I didn't like the Gladiator one so much, but I see what you're saying.
Did. I like these big animated, and that one also had the actor, like actors being the soldiers and stuff. I love when they
I like
do
that
those
stuff in the ending credits, in the title credits in the end. I don't necessarily like it in the beginning.
For me, it feels more like a TV series, like we was talking about.
When they do it in the beginning, for me, it does.
So, like, then you can hit, if it was a series, you just at the very next one, you just hit, skip.
You would hit skip, and then
but it feels like that for me, and I guess I like series more sometimes than a film,
which is totally fine. But
I loved it though.
So, and then we get to Jason Statham. Excuse me.
He started out badass. I mean, they can't just let him just graduate to badass.
No, we're going straight into it.
Oh, yeah, you're hitting hard. It's okay. And he was a working man.
He was a working man. He was a construction worker. He was the lead on a construction crew.
You're a little foreman dude.
What was really cool is like they didn't necessarily say it, but you could kind of tell that like maybe a lot of those construction workers were undocumented. And he was trying to just like, and he was being the cool boss and knowing
don't
about
lose let's leave with as many fingers.
Yeah.
Like they're uneducated. They're just there for the job.
I wouldn't say they're uneducated.
Not educated. I should take that back.
Yeah.
They're not skillful. It's almost like they're taking the job to put food on the table.
Well, like I wouldn't say they're desperate, but like the laborers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in general, like,
Yeah.
have you ever used a jackhammer before? No, but I'm willing to do it today to be able to put food on the table.
Exactly.
That's what I mean by that.
Okay,
not skilled workers. Not like you're going to hire, hey, this guy, he's been doing this for 20 years. He's going to build it right. We're going to get it done right because we've got these other people, but these are the guys that's going to be pouring the cement. You might have to come in and scale it out a little bit.
And there actually is a line Michael Pena says when they're trying to convince Jason Statham to do it. He's just like, hey, like, I see what type of person you are, and like, not a whole lot of people would hire you, and I gave you a chance.
Yeah.
So like, the character set a precedent.
Yeah.
He gives people He gives chances to people that normally wouldn't get them.
And even like you said, my grandfather was a Green Beret, so I could pick you out when I first met you.
Yeah. And that was probably one of my first major nitpicks is, being a veteran, the primary mission of Green Berets is not hitting hard targets.
Okay.
It's actually going into areas and training up a local militia to essentially defend themselves.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. They can hit hard targets. They are trained to do so, but it's not their primary mission set.
Oh, okay. Well, I learned something today. I didn't know that. I met a few Green Berets in my life. We grew up with one, me and Brandon did. I mean, of course, she was older, but I never knew that.
That's why they sent CIA and Special Forces, another name, Green Berets, into Vietnam before the Vietnam War kicked off, because they were training the locals to defend themselves. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. So well, what is?
What?
I don't want to. We'll get to that part. Skip forward. I forgot the biker guy, Air Force. No, he was.
What did he say he was?
He was airborne, and then it's like he gives the whole description. We jump out of planes. I was like, why would you say that to a guy who just said he's a Royal Marine? He would know.
They do jump out of planes, but
it's like he hinted on jump out of planes. It's like, all right.
Dialogue like that, I kind of just let it go over my head, and I try not to think too much about it because it kind of annoys me.
Yeah. They're probably educating the viewer that doesn't know what is airborne. Well, they jump out of planes.
Well, it's not necessarily that. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I felt like it wasn't fundamentally wrong.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel right. Does that make sense?
For that scene especially, man, it's like when he's finds out.
Yeah, because the dude's a fucking criminal.
Yeah.
And
you're not a cop, I could tell. You seem like you're military.
And that part was fine, but then when he says he's also military, I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
You're kind of putting us in a bad light, but like,
It feels like one of those like cop shows where at that moment where, oh, you were part of the 6th precinct. Well, I used to be part of the 8th precinct. It's like trying to measure on a level. I was like, okay, just be that biker kingpin you are.
And then when he like takes him out towards the end of the film, it's like, it wasn't
do it, brother. Do it. Just finish it.
He feels bad about it. Yeah, I was like, I'm just gonna fucking go with it, man. Whatever.
Yeah, it's just like we said. It's one of those movies you just have to enjoy it for what it is.
I'm just gonna swallow the throw up that's in my mouth, and I did that a couple times.
That pill, you gotta swallow it whole.
Yeah. But anyways, let's go back to the beginning of the film when he's in the construction site when we're establishing Jason Statham's character.
Yeah.
I was digging what was going on. Like you can tell he's out. He's a vet. Mm-hmm. He's having issues with the paternal grandfather of his child. Mm-hmm. He's not allowed to have custody. And well, for good reason, he's living out of his truck.
Yeah. I didn't realize until they had to say it, the grandfather.
Well, I didn't either.
I thought it would be stepfather. That's what I was feeling.
No, it was grandfather.
No, I know. I'm saying when I first saw that character, so it's like sometimes you watch these movies and then the like the badass is driving to the house and then you see this big house like you do, and then you see maybe the wife left him for this chalan, because the guy comes out, he's wearing like they're setting up this whole party.
Yeah, he's like wearing a clown outfit or something.
And he's got that big red like hat, and I'm sitting there going, he's got this Hugh Hefner vibe, and I was like, did the wife leave him, Mr. Badass?
That's what I was thinking.
I was thinking stepfather, and until they had to make sure they said grandfather, and I was like, oh, okay, now it makes more sense.
Yeah, and then the wife died. Okay, now.
Yeah, now I was like, okay.
I get it.
I kept thinking like over the top, like now he's living with this.
Now that scene with his lawyer, like I bought that scene. That was a really good scene.
Yeah, that was probably one of the more believable in it. I didn't like that he's got 10 grand and what can I get for 10 grand? It's like they felt the money in this felt like it was exchanged a lot,
Oh, it totally was.
Yeah.
Well, David Ayer does a lot of crime films.
Yeah. Yeah. And like gold when they're doing.
Oh yeah, that was a lot. I was
like, they're doing a lot of exchange of money in this.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
And then let's get to our first action sequence. So one of our construction workers is getting. What's the best way to describe it?
He's getting a little licking.
He's some I'm assuming Russian gangsters.
It felt like they was Hispanic. That's why I didn't.
No, you might be right about that. They might be Hispanic. I'm sorry. I'm guessing a guy. Our nameless construction worker guy who had a 1 or 2 lines with Jason Statham. 2 minutes before the scene, he's getting harassed. That's what I was looking for. Harassed by some
gangsters,
some Mexican gangsters or Latino. Let's just go with Latino gangsters. And then Jason Statham comes in and saves the day just like he does.
Yeah.
And he pulled that shotgun. I was like, let's do it. But he doesn't shoot him.
I kept thinking, I was like, what? In my mind, I'm going, why is there a shotgun on a construction set?
It's an action movie.
It's an action movie. I would have liked it if he would have pulled it off one of them, though. I mean,
that would have been cool.
Yeah, instead of it being there. But like I said, we enjoy the movie for what it is.
And then the next bit, we go. That I remember at least. We go inside the contractor's office where we have Michael Pena and the wife,
the daughter.
I actually like the daughter.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Her character. I hated. She's the damsel in distress, and then she's the badass, and then she's the damsel in distress and the badass.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
It's a flip flop.
It is a flip flop. I think they did a decent job of sort of straddling that where like she's not really trained, but she has the drive and she has that fight or flight instinct, and it's the fight instinct with that character. So I did dig that.
I saw some Sly Stone in that. And very first thing when I see this Hispanic family and I see, automatically I'm going, something's going to happen to the daughter.
Oh, yeah.
And I went back to...
It's the setup to the last Rambo movie.
I was going to say, Last Blood. Yeah. It's the same thing. Hispanic, granddaughter, what was she to him? Family somehow.
Niece, maybe?
Niece. Well, it's a niece. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, God, she's going to have to go. She goes to Mexico. And I was sitting there, I was like, I definitely am feeling that. There's two things I felt big on that. I definitely felt Rambo. I mean, of course, with all the killing and the monster. Man on Fire.
A little Man on Fire.
Yeah.
Now I'll say this: Rambo: Last Blood. That's one of the perfect examples of how not to fuck with a Green Beret.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How he did
because he was a Green
whole
Beret.
Yeah, he was. And then another one would be Angel Has Fallen, the Nick Nolte character.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so that happens, and then we're getting a little bit of the feistiness from the daughter, and I'm digging that. And then let's get.
One thing I hated.
What?
When you find out how long the character, they never give a timeline.
They don't.
Of how long but for him to be considering them family, it seems longevity.
Yeah.
For them to have never seen an incident like this, of this badass that's on the set, on their construction site, you would have seen that, I think, between even fights between guys, him breaking them up.
Yeah.
It was just like, don't tell your dad and act like you didn't see this. I'm sitting there going, God, come on now. Especially when you find out how long they've been, you're my brother and stuff, it's like you would have saw something. By that time. That's one thing
they kind of give it away though, like when they're trying to convince them, it's like, hey, like I could see it a mile away that you're this type of guy.
Yeah, but don't tell your dad, when he's talking to the daughter.
I think that's sort of just like a funny, cutesy inside joke kind of thing.
Maybe it is like a family thing.
Maybe it's like one of those like not spoken but understood things.
Kind of like an uncle, like, hey, I took you to a bar. Don't tell your dad.
It's the same thing I'm talking about. Like it's we all understand this, but we're not going to talk about this. Deals.
The very first thing when he threw those nails, I'm going through like right now. I've got some sty in my eye, and I kept thinking, I was like, oh man, in my mind, I'm like, are you going through this? What if one of those went in the dude's eyes? It's not like super impaled, but just hitting that eyeball. I was like, he's chucking those things. Oh man, that whole first, I liked how they kicked it off. I love that. It's like, I thought, no, we're going to be waiting. Oh man. First fight, man, I think 10 minutes. He's already fighting.
Like 5-10 minutes into
and then he's got the gun out. I was like, okay. One thing, let me ask you about this, and I noticed this. He keeps his, I know it's a safety thing for sets and stuff, but he's got his finger on the side guard. Now, I would think his finger would be on the trigger. Other guys have their guns drawn. I would figure it'd be on the trigger ready to go, not on the side. That's the one thing I didn't really like. He's waiting, and I'm sitting there going, he's dealt with these kind of guys before. You would think I'm ready to shoot instead of... Are
they pointing the weapons at him, or are they out? I forgot.
Well, there was the other guys were coming over, and it's at the end of the fight when he's got his to the guy's back, and he starts walking away. You're still dealing with gangsters that's going to probably try to pop you if they feel,
Yeah. My finger would be above 2 until they actually like put their gun up. Yeah.
Well, that one guy seemed like he had his gun ready. That's why. That's just one of the little.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'd have to rewatch it.
It's also preference on shooter too.
Okay.
Yeah. But you are taught to like don't put your finger in there
till you're ready to
unless you're intending to actually do it.
I got you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Then.
So if
I just figured I like to just threats there.
Yeah. So in that moment, if his finger is not on the trigger well, if he's being taught correctly, because actor and stuff like that. If it was a real world situation, he's probably feeling they're actually not going to do anything, and he's just doing this for intimidation.
Okay. I can see.
Now, looking at like real world, we're making a movie, maybe he just momentarily forgot.
It could be that's the one cut that made it, and they had it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just he's following safety protocol.
Yeah, exactly.
Just naturally, yeah. It's just I clued in on that. I was like, dude's just got done beating the hell out of these guys. 2 of them's got guns. They're hanging low. I was like, if he's ready, I figured he'd be ready to just pop if he needed to, you know. That's just one thing I caught early on. I was like, all right, but still badass.
And like he was doing right with having a sawed off like that without a stock, because 90s you wouldn't be down here with it. You would be up here, but since he doesn't have a stock, he's doing what we do with ARs. You just tuck it in. Like that, because wherever your chest is going, the barrel is pointing. Oh, my bad. The barrel's pointing in that direction. So like if my chest is towards you and I'm like this, the barrel, like you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we do that when we like cut corners and stuff like that. Well, instead of having it here, we'll do this and then we'll turn with the corner and then we'll bring it right back up.
Okay.
So yeah. Cool. Well, I just probably taught a guy to do something, but okay. Whatever.
You'll clear that corner.
You can learn that on YouTube.
You can learn it by Louis Purcell.
Let's say YouTube so I don't get in trouble. So anyways, he is close with the Garcia daughter.
Yeah.
When their teenage daughter, Jenny, is kidnapped by some Russian traffickers, Levin takes matters into his own hands to get her back. What's the first thing he does?
First he tells them no. I mean, first it's like, no. And they're giving them all, like, we're going to give you all this money. And that's the one thing I hate. I was like, we already have these $50,000 stacks ready for you. I was like, come on now, man.
Yeah.
I would have liked if he would have went to the safe and been like, instead of like, we're already ready for you.
That would have been better.
I like that.
That would have been better direction for that.
Yeah. Like,
I was thinking more about like how he starts going after this operation. You know, first he goes to his buddy. Yeah, first he goes to his buddy to sort of get permission, but he doesn't really need permission. And I have not read the book, so I don't know what
it's based off a book?
Yeah, it's based off a book.
Okay.
I said it like 20 minutes ago.
I'm sorry. Went over my head.
You're good. I don't know what of this is in the book and what is all just kind of like Hollywooded and stuff like that. And yeah, some of the dialogue just wasn't clicking for me. It was very cheesy.
Fast and Furious, some of it.
Yeah, a little bit of it. But I do like the idea of David Harbour's character being blind and like Jason Statham had saved him, but like the saving him, or the consequence of saving him, was he was blinded.
Yeah, but his wife got her husband back.
Exactly, which I thought was really nice.
I hated he shoots that arrow in the fucking beginning.
I thought it was a very interesting intro to this.
It was, I mean, for like that type of movie, I get it, but I kept thinking maybe he's blind, like not. You know what would have been better. Actually,
I'll say this, and this will go to our favorite segment. I'll have to repeat it, or you'll remind me. David Harbour is at his own not state art, his own man-made archery range, and he's just throwing arrows downrange.
Yeah,
and then Jason Statham walks up to him.
Yeah,
that would have been better.
I think so. Yeah, instead of him shooting, it's like, if I wanted to kill you, I would have known.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which I thought was kind of funny, tongue-in-cheek kind of stuff. But and so we find out that the organization is actually ran by the Bratva. We should talk about that. How does he find out? He tracks down the bartender guy.
Yeah, he likes water. I've noticed throughout this whole thing, I kept thinking, like, I was waiting for them to say your specialty was drowning people.
Well, it was interesting, too, because I was getting not, like, super confused, but, like, how he's doing his observation stuff. It was sort of giving off spook vibes. Yeah. And I'm like, well, isn't he a soldier? He's not a spy.
Yeah, it felt that way. Instead of it being, I mean, it did feel like he's got these resources, the DEA. It's kind of like, okay.
Well, he's got buddies who are in those organizations, which I totally buy and I'm okay with. That kind of just slightly threw me off. But I mean, at the same time, I'm reading the Jack Carr books, like the Terminal List series, but I'm reading the actual books.
Oh, okay.
And that character's a SEAL, and he's doing stuff that are similar. But for some strange reason, it was just giving me spook vibes. Maybe, like, I don't know why. My bad. So he tracks down the bartender guy, and then he follows him to his apartment.
Yeah. And he's got this, like you said, spy tech. It's like, I mean, it's not like a cheap GPS I would like to see more. It's just beeping, like he got it from the Pentagon.
What I thought was hilarious is the bartender dude just leaves his door open. Yeah, I guess he's high and he just decides to leave it open.
Or it could be like that neighborhood that even when the shooting happened, no one said anything. It's probably one of those. It's say nothing, don't bother. He's probably a made guy. So it's like, why would you walk in this place?
Okay, well, you know what, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
That's what I felt.
But then like. He takes the guy out. He takes Did he kill him then? No.
His buddies.
His buddies showed up. Yeah. His buddies showed up.
Yeah.
And then he takes it out with a shotgun.
Yeah.
And I made Brandon heard me. I made the comment. I was like, "That's why you don't bring an Uzi to a shotgun fight or something like that." I thought that was hilarious. And then he realizes that they're Brafa, and then he takes the money off the two guys who showed up. Mm-hmm. He walks out, and then he goes back to monitoring duty, and he sees, these two Russian gangsters come out in like these tracksuits.
God, I started laughing.
Oh, I did too. And my first thought was, oh, well, I guess we have upgraded or downgraded from the Adidas tracksuits from the 80s and 90s.
This is like super like blingy too. I was like, and then they both got hats, like these full matching uniforms. I was like, what? Just opposite colors, like a reddish and a blue.
Yeah, I was just like, well, it's a standard action movie, and it's the Russian mafia, so
yeah,
whatever.
Russian mafia style.
We'll go with it.
Yeah, and they're the sons of one of the big leaders.
Yeah, one of the big leaders of the mafia, and then they walk in there. And the guy's just berating both of them. Yeah,
and you know what I thought was kind of weird? It's kind of like that's their uncle. That's the one that the first one that comes by is their uncle. And I kept thinking, I was like, it seems the brother was higher up than the uncle. So I kept thinking, I was like, he's like, so he slaps that one.
The uncle, it was a captain.
A captain, yeah.
Yeah.
And then their father is, and I kept thinking, I was
what I was going to call them, the twins.
Yeah, we'll call them that.
The twins' father is the main guy.
Yeah. And I kept thinking, I was like, the uncle could get by with slapping, but I kept thinking it's a little distasteful because there's people in there cleaning. It's like you wouldn't disrespect big boss man's. I mean, maybe.
Go back to John Wick 1. John Leguizamo, I think you say his name, right?
Yeah, but that was. Yeah, well, but he was also worried afterwards. He was like, when he caught up, it was almost like, well, whose car he stole. And then it became, well, now I see why you slapped the shit out of my son.
Exactly.
Just that little part there, I was like, okay, I get it, but also I don't.
No, and I get what you're saying, and I tend to agree with you. I'm just giving you a different sort of comparison on that. But yeah, there's that. Let's start getting into the plot a little bit more.
Little plot.
So Laverin kills the high-ranking captain. Oh, let's talk about that. How he's like, he gets to that house.
God.
He just follows them all the way to their house.
Yeah.
And then he gets his gear out.
Yeah.
And he just camps out in the woods and is just looking at them through
like a infrared almost.
Yeah, IR.
Yeah.
Using IR camera.
Able to hear him too.
And then able to I don't know how he was able to do that. And then the captain guy's striking his gorgeous wife.
Yeah. And I love how when he slaps him back when he's got him tied up, he's like, "That's for slapping her." Well, that's my wife.
That's for slapping your wife.
Slapping your wife.
That was.
Yeah, I was like,
this movie is so cheesy. My God.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, hang on, let me get some water on.
One thing I liked is the opposition when the dude's sitting back there and he gets pissed off, so he pushes his own self forward. I really like that because I was sitting, most of the time when somebody's hanging back and they're the bad guy, they're just hanging back, and usually the hero's just belittling them. Mm-hmm. That dude came all the way back forward, and I was like, that is a badass move, even though he knows nothing can help him in that moment, he's going to show, man, I might get ready to die, but I'm going to pop forward one more time. And I love how he even pushed his whole self. I kept thinking he's going to probably shift himself in the pull by accident, and his ass would have to drag him back up. He pushes himself forward, and then he starts kind of speaking in that Russian.
Yeah.
I love how he used technology.
Yeah.
I kept thinking like he probably knows the language, but he's having to go back
we
and
don't
record
know that
it.
language.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to know that.
Well, that's why I felt like the spook vibes, like he was saying. Yeah. I figured maybe like when he knew it was the Brodfund, I was like, okay, maybe he knows some Russian. Maybe he's, infiltrated a unit. But he had to go like, oh, that's what he said. And then Dmitri.
Yeah. And then he had to go to his DA buddy to be like, hey, like, do you know anyone named Demi? in the
could be
Chicago
Dimitri,
area.
yeah.
And that was another thing. Like, we couldn't really figure out what city we're in because, like, the cinematography kind of just made it look like a undescript city. And I was talking to Brandon about it, and I started seeing little things, and then I saw the Illinois fake IDs. And I was like, okay, so we're in Chicago. And then
Windy City.
Brandon saw the train. He's like, train, Chicago. ER or whatever.
Shameless.
Yeah, Shameless. Yeah. So he caught that. I was like, oh, hey, well, we're in Chicago.
We're in Chicago. Yeah. And then they pulled that horrible wind effect.
Oh, dude.
I was like, you're trying to say where you are now. Okay, I get you. The Windy City.
Yeah.
Ain't that what Chicago, the Windy City?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
That was interesting. And then he, so anyways, the DEA guy directs Jason Statham to this biker thing. Now, we can cut this remark out if you want, guys. But I did make the comment later on in the film to Brandon, this is how you guys should have filmed bikers.
Yeah. We should have. I'm not going to lie. I didn't realize. I kept thinking that was Bubba Gump. And I told you, I was like, for some reason.
Gump? You mean like from Forrest Gump?
Yes. I kept thinking, I don't know, because the actor, it seemed like, for me, I thought that was the actor. The guy who was
Bubba Gump is at least in his 50s at this point.
I should have thought that. But for me, I saw that dude and I was like, it feels like the way, because like he had to create the list for that. And I was like, maybe that's what he looks like. And I was like, maybe that. And then at the end, I was like, yeah, that's Bubba Gump. And he was like, that is not Bubba Gump. No. And I was like, maybe you're right. That wasn't Bubba Gump. But damn, I guess I wanted it to be that. I wanted to see that character.
I know. God. And man, that one chick was just annoying the hell out of me.
The bad chick?
The bad chick. Yeah,
the whole time.
Oh my God. It was, her lines were even like the guy
Viper.
who was with her too. Yeah, Viper or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine with those characters being there and like that's their structure in the plot. Give them better dialogue because their dialogue was atrocious. Every single time they started talking, I was like, shut up.
Even when she comes in the first time she's wearing the mask.
That was dumb.
Giving her food. I was like, that made no sense.
No.
I was like, cut that whole damn scene out.
Yeah, you don't need it.
And now it would have made sense if she was like, she was in love with that character, like she's feeding.
Well, what you could have done is have her come in and then just drop the bag of food and then leave.
Yeah, when she's getting up.
Yeah, you didn't have to do any of that
suicide
bullshit
or something. I was like, trying to just play off you're a badass when you're not,
Yeah, like you didn't need to do any of that.
Yeah, and the whole time her character kind of annoyed me because it's like she works for the Russians, yet she's with the bikers.
Yeah,
and they're trying to hide off that they're working together. That bikers seemed like they was very sophisticated, and they was very, like he seemed like he knew a lot going on. He wouldn't figure that out,
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'll go with it, but
I mean, I was going with a lot in this movie.
Yeah,
more so than the Beekeeper movie, surprisingly.
But this one feels like it was kind of off the cuff. The Beekeeper had more. It was story driven, although
that's very true. That's very true. Yeah, I didn't like her. I didn't like the Viper.
I didn't like Viper either.
I didn't really like the biker acts, besides just like
I don't think we even needed the bikers at all. Dude, they ride in at the end.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
It was just more cannon fodder for Jason Statham, honestly.
Yeah. We got to send more people for him to have to kill.
Exactly.
I was like, all right.
Yeah. We didn't need that subplot. Like, I didn't really understand... Like, and that was another thing that was confusing me is... why does he need to go to these people in the first place? Okay, now I kind of get it. All right. Now, why is he setting up why is he setting up these fake buys in the first place?
Yeah. I don't think it even made sense then. For me, it didn't make sense at all.
Not necessarily, unless, I don't know much about how to, infiltrate criminal activity and stuff like that. So,
well, they're supposed to be
in that sense,
totally opposite.
Yeah, in that sense, it kind of makes sense what he does. But if he's just looking for a girl, and he's not a cop, why wouldn't he just? Well, actually, no, I take it back. I think I know now why I did it that way. It's because most action movies would do it the way I'm describing. they would not do like the infiltration thing. They're just going, hey, I'm looking for this chick. Well, go screw yourself. Okay. And then this is when fight scene happens and I kill everyone and then I hurt you and then you give me the information I want.
Yeah.
Then I go to the next location and it's literally the same scene again, but different window dressing.
Yeah.
So doing it the way they did it in this film, I get why they did that. It was a little bit different.
It was way different.
Probably more realistic. It just didn't make narrative sense. Or it did on the page and it just didn't translate well in the edit.
Or it could have been, you know, we saw how many production companies was in that. There's probably a lot of give and take.
What was that,
you know,
4 or 5?
God, 5 or 6, it seems like.
Yeah, like I even made a comment before the film
was
even
watching
started.
it roll and I was like, man, there's
I was like,
more?
how many production companies are on this thing?
And it could be they all had money tied into this and they all wanted their own little ways. Because it just felt like, okay, like in the beginning, I kept thinking, okay, we're going against like a cartel. And then it became the Russians took her. And then these bikers end up, and you're like, I would have liked it better if it was, okay, who's got the girl? Well, the cartel, these Hispanic Mexican gang maybe, has her. And they're working with the Russian son. I would have liked that better than, because we get in the very beginning, we get these bad guys coming in, and I'm used to seeing, okay, we're going against the cartel, you know? And then we get thrown in, well, it's the Russians. And then we get thrown in somehow, some way, this biker gang. I was like, you're losing me, guys. What are you going to throw in next? It's a clown army, you know, almost?
Yeah, no, yeah. I get that.
Yeah, it just kind of, and then he comes riding in with
Yo, some dude had a samurai helmet.
Yeah, man. I was like,
what's
this
going
is
on
so whack, man.
Yeah.
This is weird.
So I one thing I did love, so like now we're getting towards like more of the main fight.
Yeah.
And that's okay. We can talk mainly about this and tactics and stuff like that if you want. And then we can get into the acting. Well, I'm actually going to be getting into a little bit of that right now, but like he goes back to his buddy's house and he shows him that armory, which I did love. But I love how he was describing everything. AK-47 that's been knocking out bad guy since 1956 or whatever
and then
it was.
Took that one from
actually,
Saudis.
The patent was 1947. That's why it's called AK-47.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yes. So, anyways, and he's like, and this is a different version. And then if you want, you can get the bling bling one. And I was just like, oh, because those are
Saddam's mansion.
I was like, oh, those are, because that's a real thing. They actually have gold plated AK-47s.
The gun, though, it never made reference of why he left it at the end.
Yeah, that was the thing. We'll get to that in a second. But like, and maybe it's in those opening credits, and I just didn't understand it because they might have been like trying to tell the backstory in a really cool, artistic way. I didn't really understand. I mean, I love the M14; it's an amazing weapon. I don't know why they chose that, or just because it would be different.
Yeah. Maybe they. I mean, that's how you would think you would want.
I was trying to figure out what that optic was that he has on. I was like, is that an IR optic? Is that night vision optic?
Yeah.
And it is.
Looked old,
but it's
too.
No, the optic did not look old.
With the old style accordion style eyepiece.
That wasn't old. That was that was kind of newish, I think, maybe.
Okay.
But it was Bluetooth connected. I was like, oh, okay, well, I get it now. That's cool. Yeah. But then like he was using the iron sights that are just below it.
I was like, bullet tooth. He says that in there. I'm gonna get into.
Bluetooth, not bullet.
Oh, I thought he was making the joke like it's bullet tooth.
No, it's Bluetooth.
Yeah, I know that.
It's linked to the. That's what he said. It's Bluetooth.
I thought at that moment he said, "I'm getting ready to get into some bullet tooth," and I was like, I heard it wrong. I heard
it wrong.
I thought he's throwing some stupid pun in. I was like, okay, it's already this kind of movie. I'll go with it. You know.
No,
that's what I thought I heard. Okay.
Get your ears checked.
I will
get
my
Bluetooth.
Okay.
Bryant needs to get his ears checked.
I thought he was playing off with, and then, like sometimes to these stupid puns, it'll be, and now I'm getting into the bullet tooth. And I was I was up there like cheesing, laughing all the time. Yeah. I was looking at, you wasn't in on it, I guess. I was like,
because I actually heard what he said.
Okay.
Because I actually heard what he said.
I was up there cheesing, and I was like, oh, yeah, okay, that's cool, man. I like how you went with that. But,
no.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. But like, when he was in the house and he's using the iron sight that's underneath, I kind of saw the little hole in the base of the mount for the optic. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So he's using the iron sights. That's cool. And it was kind of weird because I don't know which I think that's like the older generation of M14. I'm pretty sure it shoots 30-06, not 7.62. The MA1 shoots 7.62. Anyways, the body's flying back like that. Does not happen with 30-06.
I was gonna say it felt like a 50 caliber. He shoots that one and blows him. I mean, he blows him all in the water.
They don't do that.
I was like, damn.
What I thought was really cool is like those were actual realistic gunshot sounds.
Yeah. I even think when I saw the muzzle flash, some of that looked like they was using
they're using blanks.
Yeah,
especially in that chase scene when he's on the motorbike.
Yeah,
those are real blanks they're using. Yeah, so that was really cool. I mean, like I thought the choice of hero weapon form was very unique with the M14. I mean, Brandon heard me when he gave him the ammo and he's packing everything up in the car. I was like, yo, 40 rounds ain't going to do it.
Yeah.
And Brandon looked at me. He's like, huh? I'm like, those magazines only hold 20 rounds. 40 ain't going to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess apparently 40 did it.
I don't know if you go back counting, you'll probably be like, he shot about 205 shots.
Actually, no, he didn't. It was pretty accurate.
He did shoot less.
But he was also putting multiple rounds into people. And I was just like, with that rifle, I was like, I don't know. And then when he was using that 1911, I couldn't figure out if it was chambered in 45 or it was a 9mm. Mm-hmm. Because if it's a 9mm, it's typically double stacked. So you get 14 to 15 rounds. And depending on the model and company that makes it, if it's 45, it's a single stack or it could be a double stack. And if it was a double stack 45, it has about 12 rounds. If it's a single stack, it has 8. So... But like with as many shots as he did with that handgun and not reloading it, I'm like, oh, okay, it's a 9mm. And it makes more sense with the suppressor because a smaller round, I think it would make less of a sound report. Oh yeah, that was another big inconsistency is using that suppressor. There's a reason why it's called a suppressor and not a silencer. It suppresses the sound, but you still hear it.
Yeah, even silencers, what I've been told is that you still will hear. Yeah. I mean, it's not going to take all the sound out.
All it does is it takes the ringing out.
Yeah,
it just reduces it. Yeah, and like there's no such thing as a as a silencer.
Yeah,
there's suppressors.
I think the only silencer would be if you were shooting like what is it, like a railgun or something. If there was something that was magnetically pushing instead of a projectile that was fired. If you could fire something without a propellant behind it. If it was, that's the only thing I could think of that would actually be silent.
I don't have an argument against that, actually. So,
there we go. We agree on something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, it's because I don't have the knowledge.
Yeah. Well, they don't exist either right now. So.
No, that's not true. We do.
Well, I'm saying in a hand.
Yeah. I mean, we have them on Navy ships.
Yeah. I was gonna say not without
experimental ones.
Yeah.
And what would make that handgun even more quieter is if you use subsonic rounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Subsonic rounds.
Yeah. There's not as much velocity into it. So you have to be really close to people, but it makes the weapon.
He had some distance.
He had some distance. Well, no, that was actually probably decent distance.
Okay.
Yeah, that's still effective distance with that.
I thought he was going to get those guys in the tree with a rifle. That's one thing I didn't think was believable because he pulls out, and I'm sitting there going, he would have probably hit. I mean, there was trees. Shooting, even if it was a 9mm or even 45, it would probably have hit a branch or something and sheared off. At least I don't think it would have kept that distance.
Maybe.
It's a movie, though. We got to enjoy it for what it's for.
Let's got to go with it. It's a movie, though. I
thought he was going to pop him with that rifle, though. I was like, he's going to do it.
Right. Yeah. I liked his tack gear. I liked how he was still doing the knife work that he's been doing in the Expendable movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I like how I kept thinking, I was like, he's got the cell phone carrier. I was like, that's going to play a part somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
And then it makes sense. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, I was just like, what is he using that for? Because when we were using it to look at drone footage from ISR up in the air.
Okay.
We could just look down. It also has like a little GPS thing in it. So when we're walking around,
you would know if you're going north and stuff.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So that stuff was kind of cool. And that was new when I was in.
So that means it would be civilian by then.
Well, at least for me. Yeah, it would be civilian by now. Well, at least for me, it was new. It was probably how like militaries work is all the special forces people, they get all the new cool shit.
And then it goes down
and
to y'all
then
guys.
and then it starts trickling down. Yep.
What is it? Marines get the last. What is it? Yeah.
Yep.
Everybody's used it. You can take it. Oh, okay.
Yep. When it's all broken in and literally broken, oh, here you go, you can have it. No, they do have what they designate as the M27. It's essentially the HK416.
Okay.
So they do have those. Those are nice. Yeah, they still use the M16, I think, but.
Well, let me ask you, would you went with the M14? He went with the M14.
He went with the M14.
Would you have went with the M14?
No, I probably would have gone with the M4 or civilian name AR-15 with the suppressor and probably a red dot.
A red dot.
Oh, well, EOTech.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you want me to talk about blinging out a rifle right now?
I thought you was going to say, I would have went with the one from the golden one just to do it, okay?
Nah. I'm not a
blingy.
gangbanger. No, that's not me.
Sophisticated killer.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked. Well, we've talked.
Let's talk real quick about. I think her name was Jenny. Was it Jenny Garcia?
Oh, the daughter. Yeah.
Badass in the end, man.
Oh yeah, totally.
And like, it felt like she just kept getting lucky. You know, it's like. I wish they would have shown like a sex scene where she bites off the dude's face. That's the only thing I kept. When he comes in, he's like, she bit me in my face.
Nah, I think I'm good.
I would have liked to have seen what happened. I mean, that's one of the things that I was like, you know, I want to see that. I want to see like her walk over. Maybe he unzips the thing, not like anything, you know, super provocative or something. But maybe he comes in, you know, he thinking she's asleep, and then see it. And that would just been me. I just want to see.
That's a good point, but.
Yeah.
Nah, I think I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good with how they shot that. Yeah, I don't think he absolutely needed it.
What about the daughter, man? I mean, I like the character, his daughter.
Oh yeah. Oh,
when we was talking about they both look at each other.
Yeah.
I was like, that is so cliche. Did you kill Grandpa?
That was
you did
cliche.
kill Grandpa.
That was cheesy.
Yeah. I kept thinking those would capture her.
Right, I thought so too,
without a doubt.
That was another thing where I thought was kind of dumb, and like they went the opposite of typical action movies.
Yeah.
Where, like you figure out who the dude is, you go after the loved ones, and you kidnap them. Right?
They go after the person he hates the most.
But they didn't kidnap her or anything. They just set the house on fire. And
yeah, I'm just saying, like you go. I would have thought, you know,
I thought they would have just
hacker
shot
dude
him.
would have been like, oh. Leave the grandfather. He's in this whole legal battle. Why would he wouldn't even?
No, I didn't think that. I thought they would did what they did, go to that guy's house and just shoot him, and then go to the school and kidnap the.
I mean, I definitely thought she was gonna get kidnapped.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. When I was like, okay, this is that's cliche.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's what you're expecting. When I was sitting there and I'm going, I kept thinking they're going with David Harbour. I thought they was going to infiltrate to get the daughter, but you never see that side of the storyline. Just he comes in the end and he's like, all right, I'm home.
Especially in the very end where they're all like sitting down eating breakfast or something. I was like, don't do that that plot twist thing at the very end, that little cliffhanger thing. Don't. And thankfully they didn't do it. I was like, thank God you guys didn't do that.
Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, no, the daughter is cool. She's feisty. Oh, Jason Statham's daughter too.
Yeah,
is very funny. Very knows what she's in, kind of deal. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Very small role. Not so much a pivotal role. The actress, I thought, did a amazing job with what she was given.
Yeah.
And her chemistry with Jason Statham, I thought was good. It was believable.
He's very good around children.
Yes, he seems very like good, yeah.
But I'm sure he's a father. He's probably one of these, you know, some people are just incredible around kids, and I think they can feel that. So it can pull it out, you know, especially with
that's a very good point.
Partners. Yeah. What else we gonna talk about?
I don't know. I'm getting tired. I'm feeling the wall.
Let's talk about one thing because you said we'll talk about it a little bit later on. The M14. he puts it down. And he's
Oh,
like, I'll
yeah,
let
this.
you rest now, brother. It's like, was it a fallen? It's got to be a fallen comrade, you know.
Well, no, I think it was David Harbour's weapon, and people like similar things have happened in film where I've been like, I completely disagree with that choice of direction with my heart and soul.
Yeah.
You don't know that the fight's over. Just because you cleared that house doesn't mean there's not an enemy outside.
Yeah. Or this going to be coming down the road when you're leaving, or anything.
So you would not just drop that weapon.
Yeah.
And he did not shoot 20 rounds out of that mag.
Yeah.
So it's still loaded. It's still a viable weapon choice. And your buddy was holding on to, don't you want to give that back? I would have had him coming back into the house for breakfast and like putting the rifle in a corner or like giving it to him or a line being like, hey,
it's still sentimental because homeboy held on to it.
Yeah.
And see, you're going somewhere where I didn't even think that maybe that was what he was holding, or I was thinking, you know, maybe this is another character down the line if they made this into a second film or something, you know, because like I told you, I felt it's very John Wick's.
Yeah.
I say wiki, but because, you know, I make it like it's a series. So I thought maybe this is going to be some character later on down the line that maybe he couldn't save. He was able to save the David Harbour's character, but it's one that maybe has been eating on his soul. And that gun, I was like, he's leaving it. It's definitely sentimental in some way. Homeboy wouldn't have kept it. And I when he left it, I'm just like, and then he gets on the bike, and there's a guy who's the main problem. Kill him, you know? And one thing, man, I love it and I hate it. When they show up in the car, it feels like RPG bosses, you know? We've got the...
his two Russian associates?
Yeah. You know, it's like when they show up, it's like he's killed them all. And now they got to come in. It felt very like you're in the game, like, oh, now the bosses show up and then the big boss is sitting outside.
Yeah.
Just when he drove away... and then homeboy's got the grenade launcher. I thought he had a grenade launcher the whole time, but he only had the one shot.
Yeah, he only had the one shot.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be one of those guys like with an Arnold Schwarzenegger and with a rotating grenade launcher. I thought, damn, that's definitely feels like boss style, you know, like RPG. He's coming in. You got to fight the guy, and then you got this other guy that's going to be hosing you with a rapid fire machine gun. Then you got to try to, and he kills him with a grenade of all things, you know.
Which I thought was kind of funny. I was like,
I did too. I like how the big motherfucker just.
Oh, I know. He just did a couple gymnastic
and
flips
then lands right on the table.
With his ass on fire or something. I thought that was funny. But I mean, that's the thing with these movies is they're very generic action.
And they're
movies.
fun to watch.
And they're fun to watch. Yeah. I would say John Wick is a little bit more stylized and probably a little bit more
serious,
higher quality. Yeah, more serious
nature.
And like Stallone wrote this, David Ayer was directing it. I feel like they come from a little bit more like 90s, early aughts, sort of like Stallone obviously from the 80s kind of action movies where it's not as high caliber, it's not as slick, it's not as stylized, in like the gung fu kind of style, so I get it, and that's totally fine. But yeah, no, I'm totally against him putting them. Now you might be right about the rifle being someone else's character that's not in the film.
Well, when you said it made sense. Maybe that's what he was holding when,
and that's
how they got out with that weapon.
But and that's how that made sense to me. But maybe there was a line that I couldn't hear because the audio for the lines wasn't that great either.
I think, and like I said it early on too, I feel like this one might have a director's cut somewhere because there's some definitely gaps I think missing in this thing.
Yeah, I might at some point when I'm not reading a bunch of stuff, I might pick up the book and actually read it. So we went over actors. Let's see what some of the production notes were on this.
I think you said, did you say the budget yet?
Yes, it was like
320 or something?
No, 40 million. That was, yeah.
Oh, that's right. And then,
yeah, that was last episodes.
I got you.
Sylvester Stallone originally developed an adaptation of the Chuck Dixon novel Leaving Straight as a TV series with Balboa Productions. The project changed to a film, and that was up for sale at the 2023 American Film Market, where the film was first announced to have David Ayer attached to direct and Jason Statham to star. In January of 2024, Amazon MGM Studios acquired the U.S. Select International distribution rights to the film from Black Bear International, which sold the film to independent distributors elsewhere. The film was put into development in part due to its potential for sequels, given the number of novels written by Dixon in the series. So I don't know how many novels are written.
Yeah.
So, and that was another thing with the Russian bad guy at the end when Jason Statham's riding off. I was like, either they're going to do like some sort of 11th hour twist ending, or he's going to have something to do with a sequel later on.
It feels like that.
I hope. And that like, no,
I hated that.
Awful. The lighting was awful. I felt like they had a high frame rate when they shot that from that angle too. Yeah. Him just looking
the
at
character.
Dumb. Yeah,
he's this Russian mob boss. All right. I mean, this is the thing that got me when he's no. I'm sitting there going, a Russian mob boss, even though the Brotherhood is going to be like, you can't go after it anymore. He's going to be like, I'm going to hire people. I'm not directly doing it. I'll hire these guys to go make sure that guy does not survive the night, him or his family. Yeah. He's not going to be like, no, I can't do this anymore. That's a very strong character who's been around probably a ton of death, incorporated a ton of death. I don't think he's going to take a loss. That's like somebody saying, hey, you spilled my milk. He's going to be like, I'm going to still get you, man. Yeah. You know, I hated that little, that's probably.
Let's see. Principal photography began in April of 2024 in London. Filming took place in Wintersnish Film Studios in Berkshire, where it wrapped on May 31st. Now, that's interesting because I was thinking this film might have been shot in the U.S., but no, it was shot in UK. Huh, that's interesting.
I thought the same thing. I was like, because he seemed like the only Brit in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly. Okay, so critical response. Let's see. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 49.
I could see that. I mean, it's enjoyable for what it is.
Yeah, Cinema Score gave it a B.
Okay.
Guarding gave it 2 out of 5. Jesse Hassinger wrote, at its best, a movie like A Working Man functions as an update to the hard-boiled detective story, with a resilient bruiser conducting his off-the-books missing person investigation. But Stallone and Ayer don't have the patience for too much skill mashery is more their thing, and as an action movie, it doesn't reach the giddy highs of Jason's best. You know what? I honestly agree with that. It felt
rushed.
The film felt rushed. It didn't feel balanced quite well. A lot of stuff did not make sense. So I would say he's pretty correct with this.
Yeah, I figured, and I've said this before in a few films, seeing how many production companies are there, there's probably a lot of money tied into a lot. I think a lot of people wanted their hands in the creation of this, and you can kind of see it felt like it
sounds like it was going through distribution hell or even production hell.
Oh yeah,
before a frame of it was even filmed.
Oh yeah, and it could be that I want this story, I want this story, I want this story, and how do you keep all these people happy? That's already got money into it. You go, you get it, and you get it the least because you put the least in, and that might be the one that's so good, And then Amazon coming in with MGM I'm sure they had some. Well, we want,
probably.
And Sly Stone, he's going to have his way too. So I'm sure it was. There's a lot of probably little pieces that.
Now, watching this movie, you can totally tell it's written by him.
Yeah, it's got a very Rocky, Rambo feel.
Expendables feel.
Expendables.
Yeah.
That's still one I got to watch. I haven't watched one single Expendables yet.
Oh, the first one's the best.
Is it? Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so I'm going to start with that one day.
It started going downhill after that. 2's not bad, but I would say 2 suffers from being PG-13 and not R. Mm-hmm. And then the third one, like,
it's just like you got to just enjoy it to enjoy it, right?
Yeah, I mean, Mel Gibson is a great villain in it, and for some reason, I just wish he was given more. If that makes more sense, like his character is really interesting, and that storyline's very interesting. Uh-huh. I just wish I would have seen more of it. Oh. Now that one would have been cool with that being a little bit more of a spook.
Yeah,
kind of feeling that would have been cool. The fourth one I've seen. The fourth one's just the only thing that's good about it is Jason Statham in it.
Oh, okay. So he's not in all of them.
He's in all of them.
Oh, okay.
He is, but like he takes center stage in the fourth one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Stallone's in it a little bit.
You could tell. I watched that documentary with him when he was moving, I think, from Hollywood to Florida or something. And you can tell, man. I mean, his body has taken a beating.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he's trying to do less. Even like when I was watching, what was that? When he played the two heroes. One of the twins that one of them killed the other one by accident, and it ends up being the Sumerian or something.
I haven't watched that.
It is really good, but you can tell he's acting in it, but you could tell it's a man that's really hurt. A lot of the action scenes, it probably use a stunt double for some of it. It's just you probably enjoy it. It's not like it's very more acting based on him than fighting.
Okay.
But I mean, when you said Statham I'm sitting there going, yeah, I can see that. He's probably getting less. He's probably more into producing now and writing because his body can't keep taking.
What was really interesting, and I was just like, oh, I see what you're doing there, is how Jason Statham is wearing his beanie. He wore it the same way in Expendables 4.
Oh, okay. I kept thinking this. Yeah.
I think it's a staple to UK special forces or just UK
that
military. That kind of look. Yeah. So, and it was super cheesy, but I did like the United States UK patch.
I'm glad you brought that up, man. It's like what I hated about that moment, and again, you got to enjoy the movie.
It's a cheesy moment.
It's
totally
almost
understand.
like he had that waiting. You have a rental car. Mm-hmm. You have this patch. You don't have a home. He's made it clear he does not really live in a home. He finally got that apartment.
Well, all that gear that he was gearing up with, I feel like was David Harbour's.
Without a doubt. Yeah. And it's like out of all this, you've got this brand new, not like worn, tore patch. Brand new. You're the best of both worlds. I'm like, either you pick that up on your way to like a taco shop, you're like, oh, this was cool. Let me go, I'm going to get it for my daughter just out of the blue while she's getting maybe potentially kidnapped. I was just like, that is so cheesy to throw that in, but I love the patch. I love I mean, the patch itself is a very cool patch.
Overall, I really don't have much of a critique to this film, only because I kind of just went in with it with no expectations.
Oh, knowing exactly,
and
I felt like
at the same time knowing knowing exactly what this was going to be.
Yeah.
And this is the thing is with Hollywood nowadays, it's lazy filmmaking.
Yeah, it feels like just remakes,
continuing to explore IP that everyone kind of just needs a break on.
Yeah. Shoving it down people's throats.
Like
we saw Jurassic Park.
Shoving down ideology. Oh, yeah, that was another comment I made. So we saw the trailer for the new Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah.
Okay,
going
cool.
Back to the original park.
That's the thing they talked about is like we're going back to the original park. And I was like, wait, hold up. That automatically makes this movie not make sense. And Brandon was asking me, well, why? And I said, well, in the Fallen Kingdom, the second Jurassic World movie, the entire island had a volcanic eruption.
Yeah.
It was covered in lava. Now, I don't know if the entire island was covered in lava.
It's
but
safe to say.
Yeah. Well, it's safe to say. And
the research
and also, you're seeing
department.
topography in that trailer on that island that you've never seen before. Mm-hmm. And you saw a lot of it in the original Jurassic Park and in Jurassic World, because Jurassic Park 2 and 3 took place on Site B, not Site A.
Oh.
There's 2 islands.
Okay.
So Site A was the original Jurassic Park, and then Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom.
Okay.
And then Site B was only Lost World and Jurassic Park 3.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, Site A was the attraction, and then Site B was all the R&D and like all the behind the scenes.
Oh, okay.
Does that make more sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of you got
developing the technology.
Train, take it to. Yeah, in a way.
Essentially. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like overdoing an IP. It's like sometimes when something's good. I mean, like me and Brandon's been talking about Terrifier 4. It's like, okay, eventually, you know.
Well, they're just trying to milk it till the thing's done, till there's no more honey, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's just sometimes when something's kind of good, like this last one with Terrifier 3, it sucked. I hated it. It's like, okay, cool. Leave it alone at that point. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's, don't beat dead horse, you know. I like Jurassic. Go back to remaking Jurassic Park, the first one,
it actually goes back to like, so there was this conversation that I was listening to on a podcast. It's Katie Shakoff and Ron Moore. Mm-hmm. Ron Moore created the rebooted Battlestar Galactica, and Katie Shakoff was one of his lead actresses in the show. And he was talking about the development of it and how, I think it was NBC Universal, they were wanting to like bring the show back. Mm-hmm. And I think they pitched, I forgot what he said, they pitched it to him and he had no idea how to do it. And unfortunate timing happened, but 9/11 happened. And he was like, oh, that's my end.
Yeah.
And so then he started developing, you know, the new Battlestar Galactica, and it worked because it was a different take. And what made it so unique, though, about it is he brought in synthoid Cylons, like human Cylons, stuff like that, right? And he gave it a very documentarian, very military, very, very realistic kind of feel to it.
He gave a good overhaul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they were trying to do it a few years ago, and it just didn't pan out. And he said, I only have one stipulation for you guys, is don't do the synthoid Cyloids. Yeah. Or Cylons. Do something else.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like to your point.
Yeah. Don't milk.
Find
something new.
Leave it alone. No, well, not that. Leave it alone for a few years and then come up with a fresh take on it.
Yeah. Instead of just keep milking it. I mean, every year we don't need a Terrifier 2. Every few years we don't need another Jurassic Park. We really don't. You know?
And from what I saw in that trailer, there was really nothing more interesting or unique that they.
It's just another story that they're going to tell. I mean, yeah. Well, getting into this real quick.
Okay.
If you could do it different, would you?
Well, like I said with the last podcast, overall I liked the story. There were just more minute things. I would just fine tune it. Again.
Yeah. Okay. I think I would agree. Fine tune. I don't even think it's one of the ones that I just think that if we could just see a director's cut to cut some of those pieces in, I wouldn't change a thing about it. Other than I really think somewhere there's some extra pieces that tie some stuff in. I mean, it's a shoot 'em up.
Yeah.
You know. We went in knowing what we're going to watch.
Exactly. And the thing about action movies like this is it all depends on your star. Mm-hmm. And like I said with Jason Statham before, when you go watch a Jason Statham action movie or you see that one's coming out, you know exactly what you're going to get. It's not going to be anything anymore, and it's not going to be any less. It's going to be right there on the money, and you know what it's going to be. It's just going to, and you're mainly watching it for him.
Yeah.
Same thing with
like a Jackie Chan movie.
Well, yeah, but what I was telling your brother earlier is the same thing with Gerard Butler. Mm-hmm. Like right now, he is the king of February movies.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So last year, was it Plane? I forgot what movie he had come out last year, but it it was the best selling. Like it had the highest box office of February. Now look at the entire year. Yeah, it was one of the low end mid tiers, but for that month alone,
Yeah.
top tier, made the most money. Same thing happened again this February. So with that as an example, Jason Statham action movies are making their money back.
Oh,
They're-
yeah.
Like
Well,
he's still a
fans-
bankable action star.
Yeah. And we wanted to see that.
Exactly.
You know, it's like you sit there and you go, I know what I'm going into. It's not like when we was leaving, I said, I'm glad it was, because I'm glad it wasn't a drama. And then you see this character. That is his character.
That's
a
his shtick.
badass, gonna kick somebody in the face, gonna fight. A Rocky Balboa in a way. He is a Rambo.
Yeah.
So, I kept thinking, when I saw a working man, I was like, I hope it's not going to be, he's going to be building a house. It's going to be a love story.
Well, and that's also the joke is you know exactly what you're going to get out of a Jason Statham action movie, all the way down to the super shitty generic title of the film. Like, well, this one, A Working Man, was worse than last year's The Beekeeper.
Yeah.
Like what's it going to be next year? The Water.
The Water.
Or no, and then the year after that, The.
How about this? That it just hit me. What if he remade Mr. Nanny?
I think they're actually wanting to do a sequel to that with Michael Keaton.
God, that would be cool. That would be cool.
I've never actually seen that movie.
I remember little pieces. I think it was 80s. I don't know if this shit tonight, so I'm not that old. But yeah, I just remember. I think it was what was it? Hulk Hogan? Yeah, it would be.
Was it?
I think it was Hulk Hogan.
I thought it was Michael Keaton. Or
Is
no,
it?
maybe that was. I don't know.
That's what I thought it was.
Oh, okay, my bad. I screwed
yeah.
up. Okay, that's all good.
When you said Michael Keaton, I was like, that would be cool to throw Michael Keaton in.
He was in some, Mr. Mom. Maybe he was.
I
in
think it was Mr. Mom.
That's what he was
yeah.
in. He was Mr. Mom.
Mr. Nanny was
yeah.
just it's a big man nanny. It's kind of feels like The Pacifier in a way, but it was way cheesier. And I don't know. I just see Jason Statham remake.
So, in your opinion, was this movie worth the money?
Yeah, man. We did it on the Tuesday special.
Yeah.
What is it? The
$6 special.
Yeah, or it was 7 with
Or 7, yeah,
whatever it is.
yeah.
Definitely, man. I would have paid full price.
I would have. I did last year.
I mean, you know what you're getting. Yeah, double thumbs up on that one.
I walked away satisfied.
And when it comes on Amazon, I'm going to watch it again.
Of course.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that you can watch over and over and over, even though it's got some really cheesy moments.
Yeah.
Like I said before, sometimes when you turn something on, if it's on, you could just leave
You're just
it
going to leave it on.
And that's one of the ones.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
So, what are we doing next time?
What are we doing next time? Ooh. I always got my little list now.
All right, pull the list out.
Man,
Pull the
I
list
got to go
out.
pull the list up. Oh, man, let's talk about this.
All right. You pull your list, I'll pull my list.
Oh, the list.
The list.
I'm thinking losers, man.
Losers?
I've got the losers. We've been talking about The Accountant. When The Accountant 2 comes out, I think we need to do a double part on that.
Okay, so... okay.
I've got, if we go experimental kind of, what is it? We've got the, terribly awesome movies. Maybe that is Mr. Nobody. Have you ever seen Mr. Nobody? It's a terribly awesome movie.
I have not seen it.
Ooh, you're in for a little surprise, maybe. Maybe you might hate it.
I don't know. I'm looking at my list. No, I don't want to play games, Netflix.
No.
We could do... Well, no, that's a sequel. Never mind. I was going to say Den of Thieves 2, but that's a sequel.
Oh, we could do that? Why not?
You know what we could do?
It's on Amazon for free, I think, or Netflix right now.
I just rewatched this, but I'll watch it again if you want to do it. We could do Hitman on Netflix.
Hitman, we could.
Yeah.
I even like Den of Thieves, too. I haven't seen it yet. Have you seen
seen the first one?
Yeah, I've seen the first one.
Okay. So are we going to do the sequel, then we're going to do the first one later on?
Ooh, you know what? Why not?
Okay. So you want to do Den of Thieves 2?
It gives me a reason to watch it.
Okay. We will do Den of Thieves 2.
Den of Thieves 2.
It is now
it called,
streaming
Pantera?
on Netflix.
Ain't it called like the Pantera or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
All right. Until
Next
time, we're out.
Peace out.